Hi, this is Tim, and I have another question from a student. It says, Tim, I know you have an all cash formula which shows you how much you can afford to pay for a single family home that you are either wholesaling or rehabbing. But do you use that same formula when you are looking to purchase a duplex or a 2 unit, a 3 unit, or a 4 unit building? And the answer to that is absolutely not. When I have an all cash formula, that is how much I can afford to pay all cash to a homeowner on a single family home. Now, this home is typically an ugly house that is in need of repair, that I am either going to put it under contract and wholesale it to an investor, or I am going to buy it and rehab it and resell it to a first-time home buyer or to a retail buyer. But when you are looking to purchase 2 through 4 unit properties, it's not really based on the comps when I evaluate how much I am going to pay. It is based on the income because it's a different animal altogether from a single family house. On a duplex or a 2 unit or 4 unit or a 3 unit or 4 unit, those are typically going to be owned by landlords, investors who are going to buy the property for the cash flow, for the rental income that it brings in. So I really don't even look at the comps of what other 2 to 4 units are selling for. I look at this particular property and I based it upon the income that the property brings in. And that's how I evaluate how much to pay for it. So let's give an example. Let's say that we have a duplex and the units rent for $500 for each unit. So that's one side of the duplex is $500, the other side of the duplex is $500. So when I figure my formula of how much I can afford to pay the owner for a duplex, and it's the same if it's a 4 unit, I just add up the gross rents as if it was 100% fully occupied. Base it on if it's 100% fully occupied. What is the full amount of the fair market rent that the property would get? So if it's a 2 unit and it brings in $500 per side, that's $1,000 gross income, rental income for the month. So here's my formula. I take the monthly gross rental income if it was fully rented out, and in this case it's $1,000, and I divide it in half. Divide it by 2. So if it's $1,000 per month, I would divide that in half, and that would be $500. And then after I've divided it in half, I add 2 zeros to it. So if it's $500, add 2 zeros, that means $50,000 on a property that brings in $1,000 a month. But that's not where I start. That's not my offer price. $50,000. Now from there, what I must do is I must subtract any repairs that this property needs, whether it's a roof or whether it's either side of one of the units needs repairs. I got to add up my total repair cost and I subtract that from the $50,000. So let's say that the property needs $5,000 in rehab to make it rent ready so I can occupy it with tenants. So I would take the $1,000 of gross monthly rental income, divide it in half. That gives me $500. Add 2 zeros. That gives me $50,000. But this house needs $5,000 in repairs. So $45,000 is the most I would offer a homeowner for this property that needs $5,000 in repairs. Okay? And it's the same this is a 4-unit building and each unit brings in $500 per month, it's the same formula. $500 times 4 units is $2,000 gross monthly rental income. Divide that in half, you get $1,000. Add 2 zeros, it's $100,000. Minus any repairs that this property needs on those 4 units to make it rent ready. So if it needs $20,000 in repairs to make it rent ready, that $100,000 minus the $20,000 in repairs, $80,000 is the rule of thumb of how much I'd be willing to pay for this property. Now what you're going to find when you're looking at 2 to 4 units, These homeowners are asking huge amounts of money, and they don't come nearly close to meeting my formula. But I'm promising that these are the numbers that you truly need to buy these rental properties for if you're going to keep them for cash flow. Because you're going to come into things like maintenance cost, vacancies, attorney fees, roofs, repairs. When it's a different type of person that lives in a 2 to 4 unit house than lives in a single family homes. These people, what I call them, these tenants, a lot of times when they're in the 2 to 4 units, they play musical houses. They change month in and month out. There's always a vacancy here, a vacancy there. So don't think you're just going to have a 5% vacancy rate on a 2 to 4 unit. It's much, much higher because this tenant is a different type of person. And I'm not saying it's bad, I'm just saying it is what it is in this type of side of the business. Now in my program, I teach more how to buy and sell single family homes. But inevitably, if you're in the business of buying single family homes, you're going to get homeowners that have duplexes and 4 units and 3 units that want to sell to you. So I wanted to give you the formula so you know if you get one that comes within this ballpark that I'm giving you this rule of thumb of taking the gross monthly rent, dividing it in half, and then adding 2 zeros, and then subtracting the repair cost to make it rent ready. I wanted to be able to give you those tools to be able to buy some properties because not every property needs to be bought and sold quickly. Some of them you may want to hang on to for long-term rental properties if the numbers work and the cash flow is truly there. So I hope this information helps, and we'll see you on the next video.